Here are some flowers that I've dried that my husband got me. I have them placed throughout my house and I use them in my resin projects. Here's some that you can buy from Amazon. I'll put the link, but we're not going to use those today. We're going to use the ones that I dried myself. So this is the UV resin I'm using. I'm going to need a couple of the toothpicks. And I'm going to go ahead and just start to place these little yellow flowers inside this mold. We're going to be using UV resin on this mold. It is possible to use the UV resin in a mold if it's little and it's clear. I've tried to use UV resin on my blue and pink molds and it made a mess. It didn't cure because it can't reach the other side. And it also needs to be small. I've tried to use UV resin in a bigger mold and it ends up bending because of the heat from the UV light. It doesn't stay flat. So it has to be little and tiny. You can see how tiny these are, and it needs to be clear. And even if your mold is clear, it's not a guarantee that it will cure all the way through. So it has to be little. So I would test it on a small piece of your mold first and see how it does before continuing a huge project. So I've put some flowers in there, and you don't want to overcrowd it either because you want the UV light to be able to reach the other side. And I'm barely filling it half of the way full with UV resin. I'm also going to add in some of this gold foil flakes because I think it makes the earrings have an extra something. Also, I want to let you know when you're doing this, it's definitely a beginner project because it's so easy and it's so fast. It's something that you don't have to wait for it to cure overnight. The UV light's going to cure it really fast for you. And you can have all 4 pairs of earrings done in around 20 minutes total, give or take, depending on if you've done it before. You want to get all of these gold foil flakes and the flowers down in the resin. You don't want any poking out of there. And again, you don't want to fill it too full because you want those UV light rays to be able to get in there and cure that resin for you. I don't like to use mica powder when I'm doing UV resin. It doesn't cure very well for me. I only do the clear resin when I'm doing UV resin in the mold. And even when I'm doing my bezels, I don't like to color the UV resin either. Any of my things that you see that have any type of mica powder in them, that I used regular resin that cures overnight. I use a toothpick to see if I can get the resin around that earring hole. And then I push all those down in there. You're going to use the UV light for about 2 minutes, and then you're going to fill it the rest of the way full with resin. This ensures that that first layer is cured, and then you can put your second layer on. The second layer is important because you're going to make sure that you've completely covered that earring hole, because if you don't, you're going to have either a bubble or a crack in there, and you won't be able to put your jump ring and your earring actually on. And you have to do this very slowly and carefully so you don't overfill it. It's very easy to overfill a mold. This is a huge bottle of resin. It's actually 500 grams of resin. I got it off Amazon. I'll put the link in the bottom in the description. And it lasts me a long time. Especially when you're just doing small projects like this. The little tiny earrings don't take much resin. You just want to make sure it's hitting all the spots so you don't have any holes in your final project. And this also ensures that the resin has gotten to all the crevices around the flowers as well when you're testing it with the toothpick. And I noticed here I didn't have quite enough, so I had to add some more. Being very careful not to overfill it. if you're just starting out with resin, I highly recommend this project. It's very easy to do. It's very user-friendly, and it's quick. The finished project, these 4 earrings I'm going to place on my Etsy shop today. So you'll be able to find those if you want to buy them on my Etsy shop. I'll have the link in my description. Making sure that this is completely ready before we cure it, because once you cure it, you can't go back. It's done, it's hardened. And once you have that ready, your UV light will be placed on there for another around 2 minutes. Then once you have that done, you're going to take them all out of the mold and place them on the table, and you're going to cure each side again for another 1 to 2 minutes, especially the side that is face down in the mold, because it doesn't get as much UV light. So that's why I'm flipping them over on their backs, so that that top part can have the UV light on them for at least 2 minutes for this side. And then flip them over and do it for about a minute on this side. When you're working with any type of resin, you always want to wear gloves and a respirator. I have a respirator on while I was doing this project. Cure them again. So now there might be a few places that you need to work on where it overfilled in the mold. And then I actually have my sewing machine seam rippers. I love these because they're small and they're sharp, and I can just cut the excess pieces of resin off with this, and it creates a smooth side, and I don't have to sand it, which I do not like to sand resin at all. I don't like those particles. This is a much easier, faster way, and as long as there's no jagged edges and it looks nice, it's fine. Every once in a while, there will be a project where you will have to sand. This isn't one of them. This is an easy way to take that off of there. And it makes it look a lot better when you don't have any jagged edges. And resin can be really sharp. It can actually cut you, so you want to make sure there's nothing on the edges there. And you'll see me running my finger over it. That's me checking to make sure there is absolutely no more jagged edges on there. And that gold foil, once it hits resin, it gets really sharp. It's really soft without being in the resin, but it can get really, really sharp and cut you once it's mixed with the resin. So you'll want to be careful. And you can see how easy this process was. It was fast. The UV resin, the great thing about it is you can get any type of project done really quickly. But the other resin is more versatile. You can use it for more things. It just needs to cure overnight. And you have to mix it. But you'll see a lot of my videos, I'm using both of these resins for different projects. These long ones gave me a little bit more trouble just because of all of their edges. They took a little bit longer to clean up. If you overfill the molds too, the earring hole will be covered, so you'll have an issue. You might have to drill it out and it might look bad. So make sure you're not overfilling your molds. That's another reason why. So look how pretty they turned out. I love the yellow and gold together. So here's some packs, just earring packs that you can put together. I got these on Amazon. I'll put the link below. And I usually use 2 sets of pliers. Doesn't really matter what type of pliers. Small ones would be preferable. You just put it through the hole. I'm testing the size here. I didn't like that size. I thought it was too big. So I went for a size down. It really just depends on the type of earring you're creating. So this is where it'll save your fingers if you use another pair of pliers to open it up a little bit. You're going to put it through the hole, and then you need your earring hook and attach it, and you've made an earring. It's that simple. When you're closing your jump ring, you really want to make sure that you're doing it straight so it looks neat, because it can affect the appearance of your earring. You just want to attach the earring hook to the jump ring and then close it off, and do that for each pair of earrings, and then I'll show you the next step. And be gentle when you're doing anything with the metal. Looks beautiful. It turned out really cute. It's very spring. I love it. So here's the finished earrings, and we're going to go ahead and add them to our earring cards. I have this pack of clear backs that I get. It comes with the earring hooks, I believe. I'm not positive though. And then you'll go ahead and just add them to your earring cards like so. And I'm going to put these on Etsy today. And these earrings I will sell for $7 a piece. These particular earrings. Depending on the amount of time and the cost of the materials, the prices vary. But these will be $7. They're so beautiful. I hope you try it. If you like this video, I have a ton more tutorials on my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe for more. And I hope you have a very blessed day. Also, you can check out my Etsy shop if you want. I'll put the link in the description.